before all this happened. I think I was still me, but I was a me who thought he was somehow tasked with his own destiny, that God had given me a mandate that I had to figure it out and succeed on my own in my field. I felt I was given these gifts and talents as an actor, and so I moved to Los Angeles from New York almost 15 years ago, and 8 years into it, I found myself struggling. I wasn't making a living at it. I was struggling. I had to take up all different kinds of jobs to try to make ends meet, to try to pay my rent, to try to put food on the table. And I didn't understand why. I didn't know why it was so hard when clearly the Lord would give me the opportunities here and there. And they seemed to be, great opportunities that maybe should have led to something else, but they didn't. And so I was somebody that struggled for a long time. And I couldn't figure out why, until I was pushed to my very limits, which is when I had a deeper conversion. I've been Catholic since I made my first communion. I was baptized Greek Orthodox, and my mother's Roman Catholic, and ended up just we sort of transitions when we moved out of New York City to the suburbs, to just going to the nearest church, which was a Catholic church, and my father was familiar with the Catholic church because he went to Catholic school as a kid, and so it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't like, let's go convert and become Catholic. My mom was already Catholic, and my dad's like, yeah, it's pretty much the same thing as Orthodoxy. They're pretty close. Let's just go there. And so we did, and I came away making my first communion, my confirmation, and it sort of stuck. It just kind of stuck, and there was no issues with the baptism. They recognized each other's baptisms, and so I had faith. But I never thought about my career and my relationship to God and how they should be completely in lockstep and synchronous and in union with one another, and that my vocation as an artist had to be in line with what God wanted for me and not what I wanted for myself. Because when they weren't in line, when I wanted what I wanted or what I thought God wanted for me, which was really what I wanted deep down. I mean, we're sort of selfish by nature. It's part of the fall of humanity, isn't it? And so when I got to basically the end of my rope, I was 8 years into Los Angeles, and I woke up one morning broke, and beyond broke. Like my bank account was negative, and my credit cards were cut off, and I was in bad shape financially. And I didn't have food for the day after that day, like tomorrow. I had food for today. And when it was gone, I didn't know what I was going to do. Like, I didn't know what to do. So the only thing I could do was become really aware of what I believed and what I professed to believe. As a Christian, did I believe in God and His lordship over my life, or was I just saying that? Was I professing that kind of on a surface level? Was I fooling myself and I didn't really believe it? No, I believed it, but I never really acted on it. I never acted like I believed it, until that very moment. And so I dropped to my knees, and I literally just poured out my heart to the Lord, and I said, Lord, you brought me to this point. You must have brought me to this point for a reason. You gave me these gifts, and you've given me bites of a career, like a semblance of a career, slivers of artistic success and opportunity, but nothing more. And I don't know why. So if you want me to continue this, you're going to have to step in now, big time. And if I'm in the way, then let me get out of the way. You said to me, come to me all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. You said that your burden was easy and your yoke was light. And so take my burden, Lord. I surrender. I give up. And I know now that whatever happens from this moment forward, I truly and fully believe that it is not incumbent upon me to save myself. I can't save myself, only God can save me. And so I give it to you. And I got up and I had, I think, 20 bucks in my pocket. And I left my house. And I spent it on like brunch. I'm a big brunch guy. And I'm like, I'm gonna just spend all this on food, I'm gonna enjoy it, and let's see what happens next. And I came back to my apartment. And I was just going through my mailbox, and I really felt like, you know what, I'm okay. Like, I don't have any pressure at this point, because now I've fully trusted and put my trust and faith in God that He's gonna figure it out. And I'm not gonna stress about it. And I never actually felt the weight lift off my shoulders before, but it did, it was gone. Wow. And so I'm going through my mailbox, open it up, and there staring me in the face are 4 checks. And I had no idea where they came from. I was not expecting any money from, well, there was one source that I was expecting a small $50 check from. So I just done a passion play in my church. And so I bought some makeup for Jesus on the cross, and there was my $50 reimbursement check right there. So I was like, yes. But then these other 3, I had no idea. So I took my checks, went upstairs to my bedroom, I put up my phone, I turned on the camera function, and I put it on video, and I pressed record, and I started opening the checks. And each check was bigger than the one before. And by the end of me opening those checks, I had $1,100.
Wow. 1,000.
And I wept. I just wept. I wept at the goodness of God. I wept at His faithfulness. I wept on the fact that I was standing on His promise, and I fully and completely gave over my troubles to Him, trusting that He would take care of me no matter what. And He did. 3 months later, I got called to play Jesus in The Chosen. Life has never been the same since.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. Surrender.
You gotta do it every day. You still have to. You gotta surrender everything. Everything you're struggling with. Everything you're wrestling with. Your relationships. You gotta work. But you also have to surrender. You gotta completely put your faith and your trust in God. You have to mean it. And you'll know the difference. It'll feel different when you've actually done it. If you're shouldering some kind of burden that feels so oppressive that you can't breathe some days, that you get shortness of breath, or you get pain in your chest. First of all, stop and pray a rosary. I'll say that, because that'll do wonders for you. And then ask yourself, have I completely surrendered this issue, that problem, this person? Have I completely surrendered them to the care of our Lord, to the mantle of His Blessed Mother? Have I done that? And if the answer is yes, but you don't feel any different, then ask yourself again, well, have I really If I had to think about this person now, would I still, that maybe I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. If you think about that person, and you still have anxiety, you still got shortness of breath, whatever it is, you still feel oppressed by whatever that is, the chances are you haven't really fully surrendered. Because when you do, everything physically changes. The air changes. On a molecular level, things change around you and you feel the difference. Then you know you've surrendered.